So here we are, the sketchbook. Little message at the front and some contact details in case it ever gets lost. And here we have an old lady on the bus. I'm busing Cairn. It's where my family lives. Well, my mum anyway. And I got my friends Rianne and Harry. Don't know why I drew them that big. Considering I usually draw people kind of smaller size. I think it might have been because when I was drawing, what was it I was drawing first? Because they were quite close to me, I ended up drawing them bigger rather than trying to like tunnel vision them a little bit and push them further back. But yeah, I kind of gave a bit too much of a chin. But yeah, I want to draw them again and try and do a better job next time. And there's a young lady on the train knitting, which is not something you see every day. Saying that, I've since met someone called Alex, who, if you go on Instagram and look at the dot knits, she does a lot of designer knitwear, which is really, really cool. And she's going to get her stuff in a shop in the lane somewhere actually, so yeah, go check her out. That's not her, that's just some random lady. Another person on the train, playing video game. Some more sketches on the bus. This was a guy outside of the bus. I was on the bus going somewhere and he was outside. He had a very interesting face, so I kind of sketched him out and drew him, and then at some point later on I came back to colouring him come in, but yeah. There's a guy on the train who was all covered up with hoods and stuff. And all I could see was his nose poking out, so I thought I'd exaggerate the nose because I thought it was quite funny. A sketch I did quickly but never got around to finishing. This old lady, this lady, that's a bit rude, Mikey, I think cottoned on to the fact I was looking at her and sketching her on the train. So yeah, she's kind of unimpressed kind of look about her, but she's has one of those faces anyway that kind of always looks unimpressed. Mikey, that is a mean thing to say. Someone else on the train. Someone at the station looking at their phone with their headphones on. That's often me. I often have headphones on and looking at my phone. Should really just be observing the world rather than closing myself off. But she's enjoying the music clearly. Yeah, someone had an interesting face. It was like framed between the seating, so I started to draw it, but it never quite came out as I wanted, so never finished the sketch. And here we have Charles with all that public money of ours, all to go, look, I'm wearing a silly hat. So yeah, you can tell I'm probably not a royalist. Probably, I'm not a royalist. So yeah, it's my little cartoon of him I drew while waiting to start a caricature booking, if I remember rightly. And you may or may not notice there's some subtle suggestion in the features in his face there, which I'll leave you to figure out if you can see what that is. Another unfinished sketch of someone reading on the train. This is yeah, I think I saw someone walking down the street. I sketched them out as quick as I could, and then the rest I just made up top of my head. I don't know, something about the outfit position at the time that kind of got my attention. I just tried to do more of a scene, because quite often when I draw people there's not much else going on. There's not really any backgrounds. I need to do more backgrounds, so yeah, this was an excuse to do a background. And you may or may not have seen on my Instagram, there's this lady on the bus that I sketched on the way to Brighton, and yeah, I did like a comparison of the lady in question and then the sketch. Very interesting face. This is the Brighton Festival. I came into a tent where this band was playing. I can't remember the name of the band, but I'm starting to really enjoy these sort of modern brass bands that are playing quite funky, upbeat music. So yeah, I did this really, really quickly. I'm not quite sure how long they're going to be on for. They might have been doing their final set and finishing. So yeah, I kind of like and don't like this sketch. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. When I realised they were going to play for a bit longer, I took the saxophone player and I did him again. And then later on they switched over and it was a different band, and this was a guy with some amazing hair playing the guitar. Again, you can probably see a video comparing the sketch and the actual guy on my Instagram. And there was this lady who was very kind of animated on stage, playing the fiddle or just singing along. At one point she had the audience all crouched down as the music kind of calmed down, and then the music suddenly exploded again into sort of energetic music, and everyone jumped up and started dancing. It was quite cool. Seagulls! Freaking seagulls, man! I guess seagulls all around the country, but I'm certainly noticing on the south coast they're quite standoffish. They kind of give you this look like they could take you on a fight. Not just the south coast. I had my food pinched by seagulls in Scarborough, so it's not just a southern thing, it's a seagull thing. But yeah, they don't have kind of look at you like they could take you on. Is Hove Station toilets, just in case you ever want to try and practice drawing more buildings. So I guess I was at a station waiting for the train. I just thought, oh, I'll just sketch the building. Why not? What was that? Oh, just stick pages. And I was waiting at Aldrington one day, and one of those days probably with reduced train service, so I was waiting a while for the train to arrive. And yeah, just sort of sketched the station. It always fascinates me, the train tracks going off into the distance. Kind of makes you wonder, like, where are they going? This lady, I can't remember where I was doing this, but I think when I saw her, she was walking by, she had this kind of like curvy way of walking, like almost cartoon-like, so I tried to capture that, but I didn't quite capture it in the end. But I liked her kind of browny, sort of mixed brown kind of colours, quite earthy kind of colours as well. So, and a big bag. This is Patrick and his friend. Sorry, I'm not very good at remembering names. But yeah, they were there playing at the Crow in Hove, so I went along to sketch them. And yeah, really cool music. Let's sort of draw some live music and listen to live music. I'm starting to get quite into that, if you've noticed on social media. And yeah, one of their friends came along, and Patrick said to him, "It's a shame you don't have your saxophone with you. If you can come along and, like, you know, jam with us a bit and vibe with us." And he says, "Oh, I've actually got it in the car." So he went off and he got his saxophone, and then he sort of sat around the corner and played the saxophone as they played their set of songs. So if they're here, he's just kind of round this way, and I'm kind of, yeah, just there's a place where people can put their drinks on there, and there's another table here, which is where I am, so it was just tucked out the corner. And then another friend of theirs came along with a shaky egg thing, looking very serious when he was doing it. I really liked his expression, but I would probably be just as serious. Try to concentrate on the timing. A lady seemingly searching for something on the beach. There was from burlesque life drawing that I did a few months back, whenever it was. And I would do most of it in a bigger sketchbook, but one picture the paint was still wet, so I got my small sketchbook out and did the next pose, so as not to miss any of the poses. So this is what that's from, but I did different time lengths poses. This might be in some of the cool down poses, which I've never had in life drawing before. This is, I got on the wrong train, so instead of going to Brighton, I ended up going to Preston Park. So I had to get off and wait for the train to go back to Brighton. And yeah, I did a quick sketch there, which I'm not really happy with, but yeah. More train drawings. A bit more of a scene almost. It could be like a storybook or something. Someone else. She's actually quite interested in what her friend is saying. I was trying to capture that, but I'm not quite sure if I did manage to capture it. It looks more like she possibly petrified. I don't know. What do you think? But yeah, she's just really intrigued by what her friend's saying. And here we've got Harrison Ford. No, I'm joking. Some old guy on Salisbury train station. The train was very late, and he was stood in the kind of backward S kind of shape. So I wanted to capture that, and the fact he was wearing his cool hat. Fedora, is that what it's called? I don't know. Some lady at Worthing train station. An abandoned sketch. Tall person, tall man, little lady having a conversation on the platform opposite. tried to practice once in a while sketching straight with a pen rather than using like blue pencil first. So this is just a pen only sketch. Some more station sketching. This guy was on a train that was just delayed. There was no idea when it was going to go. Someone was on the tracks, which seems to be a more common thing recently. So yeah, he was on the platform. Looked like he was debating whether or not to get on the train that I was sat on, or whether, I don't know. He had a look about him that said, "I do have wine and frozen pizza in the fridge and freezer. Maybe I could. Should I get on the train, or should I just call the night off and just have pizza and wine? I don't know. I'm not quite sure." He stood there for ages, just staring at something, like he was really contemplating. Some transport security. No, transport police. There's a bunch of drunken teenagers. So these two officers took them on the train, escorted them. This was one of them. This lady had kind of dressed up, almost kind of sort of costumey, maybe a bit festively, and just an interesting white skirt and the jewellery and how her hair was done and the type of bag. I don't know, just really interesting. I was curious to know where she was going dressed like that. Port Slade rubbish bin. Need to know further explanation. You never know. One day, when they recreate what life was like in these times, they will need this sketch to make sure they get Port Slade bin correctly reproduced. You're welcome. A quick warm-up sketch in Arcobaleno, which is becoming a regular place for me to visit and sketch some of the live music there. So just a quick, a bit too caricature-y. I never finished it because I wasn't quite happy with it. But this is either West Worthing Beach or Goring Beach. But yeah, Stony Beach is down on the south coast, and I'm fascinated by this green growth. It's to my eyes, I guess. Coming from Scarborough originally, it's very sandy beaches, so to my eyes this looks almost alien. It's not plants that I've ever seen before. The fact they're growing on the beach just, I don't know, fascinates me. So yeah, I just did a sketch of that, and then a sketch of some boats, but never finished it because I wasn't feeling great and ended up just heading home. This is from a day I just desperately wanted to draw something, so I just sat at my window at my home and looked out and just drew people that walked by. Pantry Bakery in Worthing. There's laptop having a coffee, and then we have the beautiful Frank. Look at Frank. There's an event I went to, and there was some life drawing going on at the event. So in fact, Frank actually volunteered to be the muse. It was him, actually. It was him, there's Frank there, which I didn't quite get to finish. Each pose was only a short amount of time, and I didn't get time to properly finish them. So yeah, him and Hazel, I think her name is. I could be wrong. Both kind of posed, but in this, I can't remember where Hazel was. There was a table kind of here, so I only got to see Frank. And then there's Frank again. I think Hazel was down at the bottom somewhere again. There was a table in the way, so I couldn't see. But look at Frank. Look how majestic that pose is. Yeah, some guy having a beer at not even 10 o'clock in the morning while waiting for the library to open. But yeah, enjoying the sunny weather. Just his eyes closed, just enjoying the warmth and his beer. I'm sure it was a beer anyway. It didn't look like an energy drink. And sat up against the library waiting for it to open. And I went to the Two-Faced Twins 3rd anniversary event. Didn't eat before I went. Had a few glasses of wine. Not a good idea. But yeah, while I was there, they had a saxophonist playing, obviously the saxophone, playing some music while the whole event was on. They were unveiling some new artwork. They were signing prints for their regular customers. And yeah, I kind of drew this lady. And I forgot to actually show her in the end. She's probably looking at me, looking at her, and she was probably wondering what I was doing, but then I forgot to show her. So there you go. That's my sketchbook. And I've already started my next one, so you can look forward to that. And I'm getting close. I've still got a little bit to go. Ooh, can't see it. It's a A4 sketchbook. I could maybe do a sketchbook tour of that. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Let me know if there's any particular pictures in there that you particularly like. And I shall talk to you next time.